I know people think I'm quite odd because I cook for myself when I'm eating alone, but I don't apologise and I don't see why I should. One, I like being self-sustaining, and two, I am far too greedy to waste an eating opportunity. Besides, you know, I like the calm tinkering about in the kitchen and I adore the rewards later. For example, easy roast lamb for one with a dollop of creamy green pea puree. I regard it as a celebration of my independence. I make spaghetti carbonara for two and eat the entire thing right from the pan. A perfect solitary snack has to be grilled halloumi cheese with oozing egg and mint. Sometimes it's dessert I crave when I'm alone, and warm gooey choco hot pots are just the thing. And something that speaks for itself is my back from the bar snack, the heavenly result of a fridge raid and late night determination to eat. I always used to think that you can eat absolutely anything you like when you're eating by yourself, but you were deprived of one of the best meals on earth, and that's a roast dinner. So I had to find a way of overcoming this dire situation, and I have, and that's by this roast lamb for one in the form of a lamb shank. I mean, it's just perfect. Normally, lamb shanks are just stewed because it's a cheaper cut and maybe the meat isn't as tender as in a normal leg of lamb, but a bit of marinading will do the trick. Putting the lamb shank into a bag, and it just means I don't need to have so much liquid and I can turn it very easily. Zest half a lemon over the lamb shank. Don't worry about getting every yellow strip of gorgeous lemon zest out because I am going to chuck the whole husk in later. May as well get every bit of flavour. So there we are. Lovely, lots of lemon juice, and that will help tenderise the meat a lot. In goes the husk. Now a little golden drop of olive oil, like an anointing rather than a pouring, just about half a teaspoon. I mean, lamb is fatty anyway as a meat, but it's nice to bring something just maybe to moisturise it a little. But a couple of spoonfuls of port. The old pairings are always the best. So with the lamb, some rosemary. It's a wonderful resiny aroma, this rosemary. Just bend it in two and stash it in. And just to add to my bag, 1 clove of garlic, just bruise it, and then don't even bother to take the skin off. Just throw it in, a bit of salt, a grinding of pepper, a slight massage just to encourage the lamb to drink up all those lovely flavours, and then I'm going to sit it in a plate just so I don't get any leakage in my fridge, and sit this in there for the rest of the afternoon. I mean, overnight would be great, but just a few hours in the afternoon is just fine. I need a travel trunk. All this needs now is an hour in a hot oven, about 400 Fahrenheit, 200 centigrade, and we're done. Ooh. Here we are. The perfect roast lamb for one. Now it is piping hot now, and I think meat is always better when it's left to rest 5-10 minutes. This has had an hour in the oven and it's just looking burnished, a bit scorched in parts, and altogether delicious. And while the lamb's resting, I'm going to make myself a pea puree. Very, very easy, but extraordinarily delicious. When I put the water in, I threw in a clove of garlic just so that the whole puree would be infused with it later. I'm just going to add the peas, about 2 cups, 300 grams. I'm going to put the lid on to help the peas boil a bit faster. And now the puree itself. Sounds odd in a way, but I like to have some cheese. So it's not only easy peasy, but cheesy easy peasy. You can put me down now. The strange thing about using the cheese is you don't actually taste the Parmesan. What you get more is a kind of saline hit. About 2 spoonfuls, I would have thought. Anyway, as much as you want. You can go fairly pronounced, be brave. Okay. And now, just to make the puree really creamy, some creme fraiche. This, in a sense, is just French heavy cream. It's sour, so you could use sour cream. And also, I think mascarpone is quite good. Look at that, maybe a teeny bit more. And I'm now going to fleck that gorgeous white with green in the form of some dried mint. You know, we Brits are very wedded to mint with lamb, and I see no reason to stop now. And the thing about dried mint, it gives a different sort of flavour, slightly huskier and sweeter. People are very anti-dried herbs now because they wrongly think, oh, if it's fresh it's better. It's not so. You get different qualities from dried and different qualities from fresh. There we are. A lovely carpeting. My little baby peas are ready. Perfect. You just want them soft enough to be able to blitz easily. Just going to drain them, and I'm going to leave the water here just in case I want to thin out the puree at all. In this goes. Oh. Right, I'm now going to turn this into a pea puree. Look. Fabulous. This is just my favourite supper of all time. One of my many favourite suppers of all time. I think I'm going to spoon a bit of my ruby glaze from the tin. Gorgeous. And now, green, sweet and green. This idiotically vibrant pea puree. There's something about this meal that makes it so comforting. Oh, I'm going to do one more thing. I said that we Brits like to have mint with lamb, but we also like to have red currant. And I've got some jelly, and there's a little space just there on the plate, just begging for it. Lucky me. All pasta is good, that is the universal rule, but for me, spaghetti alla carbonara is the best. I don't know how to say this, because it is a bit embarrassing, because it's just me eating and I am having half a packet. In it goes. Make sure all the pasta's submerged, and while it's bubbling away, I'm going to get on with the sauce. Well, I don't know how to say sauce, but this fabulous eggy, bacony mix that makes spaghetti carbonara perfect. Bit of heat under the pan. Teeny bit of olive oil, just regular olive oil, nothing special. And the bacon. This is pancetta, lovely cubes of diced bacon. About a cup here, about 150 grams, and in they tumble. And that red and white kind of checker will crisp up and be bronzed and intensely flavoured, a bit like salty sweets. And that is the bacon element. And now, I suppose it's like the sauce part, which is eggs. I mean, egg and bacon is just one of the great combinations of all time, and you just add it to pasta, and how can it fail to be magnificent? 2 eggs. You know, I'm not Italian. Well, I know I'm not Italian, but I sometimes seem to have the delusion that I am. I went as far as giving my children Italian names. But what I mean to say is that, so I know I'm not making like a real Italian spaghetti alla carbonara, but anyway, the point is, everyone cooks this their own way, Italians as well as non-Italians, and that's how it should be in cooking. Do what tastes good, that's what matters. Right, beat up the eggs till you've got just a glorious yellow puddle. Gonna give my pancetta a little stir. And the pasta. Everyone needs attention. That's fine. And now, to the eggs, I want to add a lot of cheese. A good quarter cupful, maybe about 25 grams. You don't need to weigh it, just grate in till you think you've got enough. And then you can always add some more of your pasta when you eat if you want more. Che bellezza. Just to make the sauce even richer, a teeny bit of double cream, 2 tablespoonfuls of heavy cream, drizzle that in and whisk away. Yum, yum, yum. I don't think I need salt because the pancetta is quite salty, but I do want some pepper. Great. Let's see how we're doing. Now the pancetta has sizzled to perfection and I have my magic ingredient. A slosh of vermouth. And can you see it is bubbling into the most fabulous bronze salty syrup. Look at that. I love this. Now I use the vermouth for much the same reason as I use the port with the lamb, which is that I don't have to open a bottle of white wine, I can just get a bottle of vermouth from the cupboard. Either will do, and both make this taste absolutely heavenly. I think sometimes people divide into eaters or drinkers, and I am most definitely an eater. Okay, that is perfect. Let me just try and taste the pasta without burning my tongue, which is one of the great tragedies in life, because it means you won't enjoy dinner as much. Great. Right. Well, the pasta is perfectly cooked, so before I drain it, I'm going to lower it in, get out a small amount of the cooking water. Just a custom I have. Right, so the pasta just needs to be tumbled into here. It'll work quickly now. Toss this together. And look. I love it when the pasta starts taking on that bronze colour. And the great thing is how the pasta absorbs those winey, salty, bacony juices. Very important to take the heat off. And now I'm going to go one step further. I'm not normally cautious in the kitchen, but this is important. I'm going to take it off the burner it was on so that it's not even on something remotely warm. I don't want scrambled eggs. I want it proper, like this. Yum, yum, yum. Quick, work fast. Gorgeous. If I go uncharacteristically silent, it's only because I'm in rapt greed and wonder at what I'm about to eat. And it needs a little bit of lubrication from the pasta water. And obviously the water makes it runnier, but the starch in the water, which is from the pasta, helps everything cohere into a slightly thickened sauce. My way with carbonara is to add a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of noce moscato over. Now this is all done, and I know I'm going to have some now at the risk of burning my mouth, which would be tragic. I've got to dive in. I'll probably get with my supper. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Enjoy. Have a great
Will do. When I'm eating out when I'm by myself, I don't really want to go to a restaurant. I tend to go to cafes or sushi bars or a diner. This isn't really a diner, but it's that kind of food, like a real treat when you're by yourself. Don't eat it every day, but it is really lovely. Some of my favourite sort of food is just the stuff you throw together when you're making yourself something to eat. This is top for me. Grilled halloumi with oozing egg. The egg in question is soft boiled. Just gonna do 4.5 minutes on my magic onion. The reason why I soft boil my egg is that everyone has their sort of culinary disaster areas, and mine is poaching. I can't poach an egg. If you can, congratulations, and you may do that. But now the halloumi. I love this cheese. It's toothsome, it's chewy, it's intensely salty. I'm using half a packet, which is about 125 grams altogether. Sometimes I do use a bit more. So slice it neither thinly nor thickly, and just place it on a griddle or any frying pan. The only important thing is that you don't put oil in. It doesn't need oil. And this goes a lovely tiger striped brown as it cooks. And while everything is doing what it should, I am going to line my dish with about half a packet of designer salad leaves. Lovely. I often just leave that as it is, but today I'm in the mood for a bit of spritz of red wine vinegar. I'm going to turn my halloumi because I think it will be about ready. Slightly blistered black, but that's what tastes so gorgeous. I think this is ready now. So just transfer these lovely slabs of white and bronzed cheese to the waiting salad. There we are. Aha! The onion has spoken. So, out now, just submerge it in some chilled water, and I'm going to get the mint to throw on top later. Okay, now Miss Asbestos Hands is going to perform her trick of peeling this egg. And because you're cooking for yourself, it doesn't really matter if the egg breaks as you peel it or as you put it on the salad. And that's why it's so important to cook for yourself. There's no pressure to succeed, which means that you're more relaxed about everything. And then you get confident, and then you cook. There we are. And lots of fresh mint on top. And this is the gorgeous moment when that oozing egg does what it says on the box. When I'm by myself and I want a quick, easy but delicious supper, I make myself spaghetti, which I douse with this lovely garlic-infused olive oil. It's just heaven, very easy. And what I like to do as well is crumble over some dried chili red peppers. Not so red anymore because I bought these years ago at duty free at Venice Airport. Oh, and I do like a little solitary pleasure. These beautiful marron glacé, they're candied chestnuts. Look at this treasure trove, all these gold foil wrapped nuggets. They are so delicious, but a real extravagance. Oh, and there are times when you need a little self-indulgence, and for me that means chocolate chips. When I want to indulge myself, I don't go for some pampering spa treatment. I make these my special chocolate pots. Obviously, you start with chocolate. Indeed, you end with chocolate, and it's chocolate all the way through. Not bad. It does need to melt the chocolate, and I find it's easiest often to use chips. I want 3/4 of a cup, about 125 grams. of semi-sweet chocolate. And on top of those clattering chips, I'm putting 125 grams, just over a stick, of good unsalted butter. It has to be soft though. Now while this pan full of simmering water melts the butter and chocolate in the bowl, I shall get on with greasing my ramekins. And I do this always the way my granny did, which is by keeping butter wrappers and using them to grease cake tins or pots like this. Now this is exactly what I wanted. I mean, who wouldn't want this? Look at this ravishing pool of chocolate. It's quite mesmeric. But I'm going to put it aside to cool, and then I can get on with making the chocolate pots. And I did say that they were special chocolate pots, and I'll explain what I mean. When I first made these for my children, about 3 years ago, I didn't know what to call them, and my son, with the unerring logic of a 6-year-old as he was then, said, oh, Choco Hotto Pots. Got chocolate, you eat them hot, and you put them in pots. So of course I went with it. On top of these 2 eggs, I need 3/4 cup of sugar. It's about 150 grams. And I know it sounds like a lot, but I'm using dark chocolate, so there's not an awful lot of sugar there. Whisker. And now some flour, not very much, 3 tablespoons. I don't want this cake-like, it has to be melting. That can just mix in now. Now we have a lovely golden ointment. Fold the melted, cooled butter and chocolate into the eggs and sugar and flour and fold it in. Now I just need to fill my 4 waiting ramekins. These are just under a cup capacity, about 200 millilitres. And don't panic, I'm not going to eat all 4 myself. I'm making 3 for the children later, but believe me, I want to eat mine in peace. I'll enjoy it much more if I don't have all their din around me. Yum. Those 3 can be stashed away for later. This one, for me, can be put beautifully on its own on the tray to go into the oven. Got the oven at about 200 degrees, 400 Fahrenheit. It'll need about 20 minutes, and you'll tell when it's cooked because the top will be quite cracked, a bit like a macaroon, but underneath it will be so invitingly gooey. This is cooled down a bit now, but it's warm, but I know I have pleasure ahead, so I'm willing to bear the pain now and dive right in. Can you see, like when you crack that rather wonderful carapace, you've got all this goo underneath. My favourite sort of cooking, I think, is the time when you dive into a fridge and just pick whatever you've got and go with it. So let's try it. Okay, so here goes. Right, so what am I going to cook? You may well ask. This is my special back from the bar snack. Some cheddar, the peas, eggs, bacon, potatoes. I'm gonna heat up a frying pan, put in a bit of oil. I have to say that if it weren't this late, I would actually start off with an onion, but you know, peeling and chopping, please. Not now. I'm gonna snip in a couple of pieces of bacon. feel better already. Oh, is there any sweeter sound than the sizzle of bacon? I think not. Give that a bit of a... I'm going to add some potatoes to that pan. These are left over from yesterday. Very nice, thank you. Right, I think without much further ado, I shall bung these potatoes in the pan. Stir a bit. I think I'll tumble in these peas. I don't want to fry them, I just want to heat them through a bit. And any minute now, they're going to be covered with eggy cheese. Let's go. Two eggs. And a good sized lump of cheese, cheddar, double Gloucester, you name it. I think I'll just break it in. I don't really think we need to go in for grating now. My crumbling is getting less than delicate. And in we go. This isn't an omelette so much as a kind of potato bound with cheesy egg. That necessary carbohydrate. This is where you must be patient because you want everything to warm through and the cheese to start melting. Anyway, I'm going in. I think you better leave me to it.